So it actually dropped at 5 p.m. Shockingly, I was shocked. I was looking at the countdown like, all right, here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Refreshed it and it dropped. Bam. So I was like, all right, let's see what this nigga talking about. You feel me? A couple of these joints we already know. We heard, Black Ops 3, Law and Order, Flattered, Who Dat, Chicago Zoo. Them a couple joints that I had already heard, and I heard Where You At. It wasn't a bad mixtape at all. I just didn't understand, like, fuck, why did you have to rap over other people beats? You know what I'm saying? And then use original production. So I think, if I'm correct, track one, track five, track nine, and track 19, if I'm correct, are, other people's songs and everything else is original production. I could be wrong, but it was a solid tape. I fuck with it, you know what I mean? It's nothing bad about it. He actually rapped on this shit. He didn't use, like, no auto-tune hardly. He had a lot of shit to get off his chest, and it's dope. Um, Probably my favorite songs off here would be Flatter, Black Ops 3, Law and Order, Stunting Like My Mama. What that other joint at though? That he was crazy. Uh, I think it's Law and Order. That shit was crazy. Obama was cool. You know what I mean? Early morning, getting to it. That was dope. In Your Face was cool. You know what I mean? But it was a couple joints I didn't fuck with. I didn't like Chicago Zoo like that. I'm the Man, X, and Dismiss. I didn't really like them too much. But overall, man, it was a good project. I fuck with it. Glad to see this nigga back doing what he do. You know what I mean? But other than that, shit, it don't really need a rating. It's a good tape. You know what I mean? It's better than the last couple tapes he put out. But let's go talk about this other nigga's tape. And this nigga actually didn't troll us. He actually dropped this shit. It was supposed to be a motherfucking album or whatever you call it. But I'm scrolling on my mixtapes, you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, okay, Lil Flash dropped the tape. And I'm looking, I'm like, what the fuck is that? It say Young Chop. I'm like, Finally Rich too. Oh, this nigga actually dropped this shit but made it into a mixtape. And he made it kind of, the cover look funny and shit, you know what I mean? But this shit wasn't half bad either, though. You know what I mean? It had 13 tracks on it, some features: Johnny Made Cash, Lil Flash, Josh K, King 100 James, Big Mensa was on here, J Rock, Team Go, BMO, and not J Rock from TDE either. You know what I mean? I was like, wow, this nigga is crazy. Like, I never knew Young Chop was a rapper. I knew the nigga can, like, do beats and shit, but it's just like, holy shit, this nigga's rapping. Like, the first track, Everything, featuring Lil Flash, that shit it was dope. You know what I mean? Street record, Chop talking that shit. You know what I mean? The hook was cool. I definitely dug the beat. And I'm like, wow, this nigga a fool. Pulled up. It's basically about sipping lean. I ain't really never known him to actually indulge in that type of shit. So I was like, nah, I'm not going for it. Bruce Lee, that's not a bad song. You know what I mean? Go into Reason. I didn't feel that shit. You know what I mean? The little R&B singing shit, I wasn't fucking with it. Hidden Foe featuring King James 100. Like, Chop said some real shit on that shit. You know what I mean? Bruce Lee was cool. Reason was cool. Hidden Foe was cool. Chop said some real shit on that record. Around My Way featuring Big Mensa, King James. To me, that's a great record. You know what I mean? He put together a great song right there. Track 7 and 8, I ain't fuck with them. Track 9, That's All. The melody and the subject matter was cool. Great song. I fuck with it. The hook was cool. You know what I mean? We Gonna Let You Have It featuring BMO. Street content. It's like, damn, who this nigga getting at? Who he dissing? That shit crazy. Hell No featuring Johnny Make Cash and Nino. That song had a cool melody. Not bad at all. Who You Telling? That's my shit right there. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, that's probably one of the hardest songs on there. And then the last track, Finally Rich 2. I fuck with that shit too, but you know what I mean? Overall, this shit is not bad. I was like, damn. Like, Young Chop really, like, you know what I'm saying? He could have just did the whole Dr. Dre situation where he's a producer and he dropping a, mixtape, but it's a compilation. He got everybody on there, you know what I mean? But he not rapping. But, he was rapping on some of these joints and it was, like, cool. I was like, damn. I don't know if he write his own bars, but at the same time, it wasn't a bad project, you dig? So, you know what I mean? I gave it a 7 out of 10 because it's all original production. I like 9 out of 13 records. The beats were smooth, though. He did his thing on it, though, but it ain't fucking with Finally Rolling, too. I'm sorry. Like, I'm listening to this shit, and I was like, nah. Chief had more songs, but Chief was killing this nigga on the shit, you dig? But that's just my personal opinion. You know what I mean? Y'all let me know what y'all think about Finally Rich, too. Now let's get into one more artist from Chirac. One. And we getting a little flash glow docs, you know what I mean, just from basically the Boondocks, you know what I mean. We already know who Lil Flash is. He's not the best rapper in Glow Gang, you know what I mean. He can get on a beat and do something different to it, you know what I mean. But it is what it is though. So don't be in the comments like, oh, this nigga wacky garbage. You know, shout out to Lil Homie, you know what I mean. I reviewed it for Lil Homie though, you did, cause I wasn't even gonna review this shit. But he a fan of Lil Flash, so it is what it is. But one thing I will say, too many fucking songs. He had 18 records. I think that was extremely too many songs. He should have cut this shit to at least 10. You feel me? Because that's how many songs I actually dug off the project. Everything else to me was just a filler. It got repetitive. You know what I mean? It was nothing new. And that's the problem with, you know what I mean, him as an artist. It's like, yo, you saying the same shit in different ways on different projects. Like, be more original. Like, he should have, if you was gonna do it like this, how I would have did it if I was gonna do this project, and I'm his like homie or manager. It's like if you gonna do that, let's take excerpts from out the seasons of Boondocks, and you wrap around those certain. If you take a scene where the grandpa is yelling at the two boys or some shit, and then you can relay a story about how you grew up, or you could take this scene with the badass little nigga saying this and that, or blah blah blah, or the scene where they meet Gangsta Delicious, the fake 50 Cent, where you realize that this nigga is really not a street nigga. You can make a song concept off that, these fake niggas and shit. But other than that, man, let's just go ahead and talk about it. The first track, it got the little crazy skit at the start of it. It was a decent song. I definitely like the beat. Caviar, it is what it is. His flow and lyrics was on point. Andre 3000 was a solid, cool song. It was just too short. You know what I'm saying? No Bay Area, though. But going into track 3 already, that beat was hard as fuck. He had less auto tune in it. It was a dope record. His flow was normal. I appreciate that. It was a good record. Arm and Hammer featuring Trey Savage, straight banger. I ran that shit like twice. You know what I mean? Track 5, Get It Back. Basically about grind hard. You know what I mean? Even if you blow money, be able to get that shit back. I definitely, production and his flow was on point. Track 6 through 7, I didn't like. Going to track 8, For My Glow. I fuck with that record. You know what I'm saying? Track 9, I wasn't fucking with it. Track 10, Birds, I fuck with it. Track 11, On Time, you know what I'm saying? Making that money, you dig. The beat was ill as shit. Shipments, track 12, track 13, Trying to Get That. I definitely fuck with those two records, you know what I mean? But like I said, it got repetitive. Track 14 to 17, I didn't like none of them records. And the last track, 18, Days, I definitely fuck with it. I mean, I give it a 6 out of 10. 10 of them, like I said, was straight. The production was cool, but it got repetitive. I get that 6 out of 10. I mean, he just got to come with more different content than that. I mean, got to be more about weed, lean, you know, ops, foreigns, and designer clothes and shit. It got to be more to life than that. I mean, if you young, you doing it, that's cool, but where's the life experiences? Just because you live in the hood, and this to any nigga that live there, you got to step outside your boundaries, your comfort zone, and experience life, and then come back and talk about some shit. But it was a fair project, though. I fuck with it. You know what I mean? It's not bad. Out of his whole catalog, I think about at least 3 of the mixtapes I enjoyed. They solid, but shout out to you, little homie. I hope you enjoyed this. But other than that, I'm out. 1.